Welcome. Today we will read Lesson 94 in the workbook, and from the text we will read Chapter 9, Section 6, The Acceptance of Your Brother. And now for Lesson 94. I am as God created me. Today we will continue with the one idea which brings complete salvation. The one statement which makes all forms of temptation powerless. The one thought which renders the ego silent and entirely undone. You are as God created you. The sounds of this world are still. The sights of this world disappear. And all the thoughts that this world ever held are wiped away forever by this one idea. Here is salvation accomplished. Here is sanity restored. True light is strength, and strength is sinlessness. If you remain as God created you, you must be strong and light must be in you. He who ensured your sinlessness must be the guarantee of strength and light as well. You are as God created you. Darkness cannot obscure the glory of God's Son. You stand in light, strong in the sinlessness in which you were created, and in which you remain throughout eternity. Today we will again devote the first 5 minutes of each waking hour to the attempt to feel the truth in you. Begin these times of searching with these words. I am as God created me. I am His Son eternally. Now try to reach the Son of God in you. This is the self that never sinned, nor made an image to replace reality. This is the self that never left its home in God to walk the world uncertainly. This is the self that knows no fear, nor could conceive of loss or suffering or death. Nothing is required of you to reach this goal, except to lay all idols and self-images aside. Go past the list of attributes, both good and bad, you have ascribed to yourself, and wait in silent expectancy for the truth. God has Himself promised that it will be revealed to all who ask for it. You are asking now. You cannot fail because he cannot fail. If you do not meet the requirement of practicing for the first 5 minutes of every hour, at least remind yourself hourly, I am as God created me. I am his son eternally. Tell yourself frequently today that you are as God created you. And be sure to respond to anyone who seems to irritate you with these words. You are as God created you. You are his son eternally. Make every effort to do the hourly exercises today. Each one you do will be a giant stride toward your release and a milestone in learning the thought system which this course sets forth. The practice for today's lesson asks to take 5 minutes each hour to reach one's eternal true self, the one who God created. This is the self totally innocent, free of all attack thoughts, and absent of images that hide the truth. This self is forever at home with its source, having never separated from love. This self knows no fear and is unaware of loss, suffering, and death of any kind. To experience this loving presence, we are told that one must leave behind all false beliefs and self-images, laying aside characteristics of both good and bad qualities given to oneself, which have only served to limit one's unlimited nature. While awaiting its arrival, one encounters the light of awareness and one's strength of being. And now for our text reading for today. From chapter 9, section 6, The Acceptance of Your Brother. How can you become increasingly aware of the Holy Spirit in you except by his effects? You cannot see him with your eyes, nor hear him with your ears. How then can you perceive him at all? If you inspire joy and others react to you with joy, even though you are not experiencing joy yourself, there must be something in you that is capable of producing it. if it is in you and can produce joy, and if you see that it does produce joy in others, you must be dissociating it in yourself. It seems to you that the Holy Spirit does not produce joy consistently in you, only because you do not consistently arouse joy in others. Their reactions to you are your evaluations of His consistency. When you are inconsistent, you will not always give rise to joy, and so you will not always recognize His consistency. What you offer to your brother, you offer to him, because he cannot go beyond your offering in his giving. This is not because he limits his giving, but simply because you have limited your receiving. The decision to receive is the decision to accept. If your brothers are part of you, will you accept them? Only they can teach you what you are, for your learning is the result of what you taught them. What you call upon in them, you call upon in yourself. And as you call upon it in them, it becomes real to you. God has but one Son, knowing them all as one. Only God Himself is more than they, but they are not less than He is. Would you know what this means? If what you do to my brother you do to me, and if you do everything for yourself, because we are part of you, everything we do belongs to you as well. Everyone God created is part of you and shares His glory with you. His glory belongs to Him, but it is equally yours. You cannot then be less glorious than He is. God is more than you only because He created you. But not even this would He keep from you. Therefore, you can create as He did. And your dissociation will not alter this. Neither God's light nor yours is dimmed because you do not see. Because the sonship must create as one, you remember creation whenever you recognize part of creation. Each part you remember adds to your wholeness, because each part is whole. Wholeness is indivisible. but you cannot learn of your wholeness until you see it everywhere. You can know yourself only as God knows his Son, for knowledge is shared with God. When you awake in him, you will know your magnitude by accepting his limitlessness as yours. But meanwhile, you will judge it as you judge your brothers, and will accept it as you accept his. You are not yet awake, but you can learn how to awaken. Very simply, the Holy Spirit teaches you to awaken others. As you see them waken, you will learn what waking means. And because you have chosen to wake them, their gratitude and their appreciation of what you have given them will teach you its value. They will become the witnesses to your reality, as you were created witness to God's. Yet when the sonship comes together and accepts its oneness, it will be known by its creations, who witness to its reality as the Son does to the Father. Miracles have no place in eternity because they are reparative. Yet while you still need healing, your miracles are the only witnesses to your reality that you can recognize. You cannot perform a miracle for yourself, because miracles are a way of giving acceptance and receiving it. In time, the giving comes first, though they are simultaneous in eternity, where they cannot be separated. When you have learned they are the same, the need for time is over. Eternity is one time, its only dimension being always. This cannot mean anything to you until you remember God's open arms, and finally know his open mind. Like him, you are always in his mind and with a mind like his. In your open mind are your creations, in perfect communication, born of perfect understanding. Could you but accept one of them, you would not want anything the world has to offer. Everything else would be totally meaningless. God's meaning is incomplete without you, and you are incomplete without your creations. Accept your brother in this world, and accept nothing else. For in him you will find your creations, because he created them with you. You will never know that you are co-creator with God until you learn that your brother is co-creator with you. In this section, we learn that only others can teach one what one is, for one's learning is the result of what one teaches others. As we learned earlier in a section of the text, to have peace, teach peace to learn it. What one calls upon in the other, one calls upon in one's self. Since others are part of oneself, one is called upon to accept them. Miracles of love are a way of giving acceptance and also receiving it. Everyone who love created is part of oneself and shares love's glory with oneself. To consistently offer joy to others, one must be willing to receive the guidance of one's inner guide, who teaches one to awaken joy in others. One will discover what awakening means by seeing others awaken. Their gratitude and appreciation will show one the importance of their recognition.